Tomahawk, Bone Tomahawk, Bone Tomahawk, Bone Tomahawk. We're talking about Bone Tomahawk. This is one definitely I never hear anybody talk about, but it's fairly new, pretty fucking good. It has Kurt Russell in it. Like, how many fucking movies have you seen where Kurt Russell's in that's not very good? I'll wait. Yeah, that's right, you haven't. So this is a rare situation right here. A Western horror movie. It's like, okay, well, I'm fucking down. I mean, you could tell it's a Western right away by like the cover. Like, what's that called? Like that sepia tone. Look at that shit. And anytime it has that like that mustard shit yellow, then you know it's gonna be like a Western. But it doesn't say anything about being a horror. But it is. It definitely fucking is. All right, so let's just jump into it. I'm recommending it right away. That's the most description I'm gonna give you without spoilers, because we're just jumping into spoilers. All right. Here's what goes down. Right in the beginning of the movie, David Arquette is in the movie. David Arquette and Captain Spaulding, Sid Haig, rest in peace. So they're fucking around on some little Indian burial ground type of weird cult type of some kind of shit in the dirt. It's like rocks and formations and all that kind of stuff. They're fucking around right there, and they kill this dude. And there might have been two dudes, I can't remember, but they rob their ass. And then right away, Sid Haig sees somebody, and he's like, "Hey, what the fuck?" And then they get shot with arrows. Like, so Sid Haig dies right away in the movie, rest in peace. And David Arquette gets away, and then that's where the movie starts. Okay, so from there, it cuts to, like, you know, David Arquette. He's inside of a bar in a little town, you know. So Kurt Russell's like, "Hey, David Arquette, what's your name?" And then David Arquette's like, I didn't do nothing." And then Kurt Russell's like, I didn't say you did anything, David Arquette. And it's just a cool little confrontation that they're having right there. You know, Kurt Russell just being badass. And then, by the way, Kurt Russell has like his partner, his right-hand man, which is like some 80-year-old dude. Kurt Russell, you know, what is he, like 65 or something? But then his partner's like 85. It's like, okay, you could get somebody a little bit younger, let grandpa, you know, hang out you don't have to fire him. You could just give him a job at the old sheriff's station, make him soup or whatever it is. So then from there, David Arquette tries to run off. He's just like, fuck all this. He tries to book it. Kurt Russell shoots that motherfucker in the leg. And it's like, oh, okay, I mean, you know, you didn't have to shoot him in the leg, but I mean, you know, it definitely was like a little bit of abuse of power, you know, like, I mean, but also it could have been worse. He could have, you know, pulled him out of his car and, you know, fucking stood on his chest till he couldn't breathe and died. He could have did that, but he didn't exactly do that. So here's what happened. They take him back to the jail cell. You know, it's not like a prison or nothing. It's just like a room and a jail cell, and then that's it. That's like their jail. And you know, they have their little desk, his little coffee cup, his you know, soup making area where they should have put grandpa to work. That's their prison. That's their, you know, it's the old times. This is, you know, takes place in 1910, fucking 1843. It's, look at the cover, dude. Like, I don't think I have to explain that much. So once they're in there, they send away for. There's another character in this movie. His name's Mr. O'Dwyer. I don't know his real name, but he's the guy from Insidious, and then I think he's the Conjuring guy too, or whatever he is. But it's that guy. And so they send away for his wife. His wife is Mrs. O'Dwyer. I don't know her name. Mrs. O'Dwyer. You know, so they send away for this dude's wife. She's like a nurse, or well, I don't think there's nurses. She's just a doctor. She's a physician, you know. So they get her to yank that bullet out of David Arquette's leg. So they bring her to the jail, and she starts like doing surgery on him and all this stuff. I don't know if it's considered surgery. It's just yanking a bullet out. They gave him morphine or whatever it is, opium. Yeah, that's what it was. They got him fucked up, and then they just start digging in his leg. So here's what happens. This is where it starts getting a little spicy, okay? Kurt Russell and his old man friend, they're like, all right, let's head home. They got another deputy on shift, and they're like, you stay here. As soon as she's done pulling that bullet out, you know, lock the doors, and we'll be back in the morning. You'll be good. And take Mrs. O'Dwyer home. That's what he said. He said something like that. All right, cool. So it cuts to the morning. And once they get to the morning, there's a dude from the bar. He shows up to Kurt Russell's house, and he's like, "Hey, kind of got a situation here." Oh, I skipped a little part. Okay, so here's what happens. There's a young gentleman that I guess he takes care of the horses and all that. It's a big ass barn with horses and stuff, and he's looking. It's the middle of the night, and he's looking in there, and you could see like 2-3 shadows running back and forth. And what ends up happening is like somebody comes out of nowhere and stabs him in the face, and he's done. It's like, okay, and then it cuts to the morning where that guy is talking to Kurt Russell, and he tells Kurt Russell, "Hey, somebody took homeboy out. You might want to come check on that for sure." Kurt Russell's like, "Fuck, all right," and he's like, "But I went to the sheriff I went to the jail to look for you, and guess what? There's nobody in there." And then Kurt Russell's like, "What? There should be somebody in there." And there's no prisoner, there's no deputy, and then once they get over there to check it out, they realize they have Mrs. O'Dwyer's medical bag. It's like, okay, well then they took her too, so everybody's fucking gone. Once again, this is where it's getting spicy, you know. So Kurt Russell goes to Mr. O'Dwyer's house, and he's like, "Hey bro, like I don't want to be the dude to say this, but your wife's kind of been taken. She's kind of missing, bro. I know it's kind of our fault because she shouldn't have been at the jail at that time, and then we should have all just been watching her. We don't know what happened. Come down to the bar. We're going to talk about it. We're going to figure out what we're going to do. We'll get you some coffee. We'll get it all situated," you know what I mean? And what I failed to mention is that Mr. O'Dwyer is currently hurt. His leg is, I guess he fell off a ladder trying to work on his house or something, but his leg's hurt. And if you don't know, and these times of the 1800s or early 1900s or whatever the fuck, there wasn't great medical procedures, you know what I mean? So like if your leg was fucked up and then you're not taking care of it, they're probably gonna cut that shit off, and then from there you might even die. So definitely he shouldn't be walking around, but he's walking around because he's all stressed out about his wife. And it's like, dude, I mean, like she was pretty, but come on, dude, like maybe start considering a new wife. I don't know, dude. It's my opinion, you know. But what do I know? Nobody loves me. So they get to the bar, and then from there they bring in an expert, and it's some Indian dude. Man, this motherfucker looks clean as fuck. He's all suited down, pretty as fucking, straight long hair. If this dude lived now, he'd be a big time fucking metalhead, dude, because he has that old school fucking, like I said, that old long straight hair. He'd definitely be listening to like some Sepultura or this dude. This dude was just clean cut, you know what I mean? They show him an arrow, and they're like, "Do you know where this came from? Do you know like what tribe or whatever?" And he's like, "Yeah, I know where that came from. You definitely don't want to fuck with those people." And yeah, Kurt Russell's like, "Why? What's up? What's up with these fools?" And he's like, "Well, these guys live in caves and shit, and they're basically cavemen that feast on people. They're carnivorous beings, you know. Like I don't want to call them Indians, because it's like they make these dudes look so bad. It's like it's kind of fucked up for the Indian race, for the Native American race. It's pretty fucked up. So it's just like I'm gonna call them like cavemen. They're more like cavemen. Well, what do you call people that eat people? Babe, what do you call people that eat people?
Cannibals?
Cannibals. They're cannibals. This dude's telling him, you might not want to fuck with them. So okay, so we're gonna move on faster through this story, because if not, like I could really talk all the details in this movie. This movie's pretty fucking good. Like I remember most of it fairly well. But we're just gonna start cutting to the end, because like I said, we could talk all day. So what happens is Kurt Russell, his old man partner, Insidious dude, and there's another guy. This other guy is Jack from the show Lost. Do you remember him? He was like the main dude. This dude has like a little mustache, real clean cut, suited down, white suit, and he like, for whatever reason, he's like proud. I don't know if he's proud, but he's very willing to share that he's killed many Native Americans. But later on, you find out that it's because they killed his family. It's a pretty fucked up situation, like, you know what I mean? But anyways, but he goes with them too. He wants to help find this lady and the deputy and all that, you know. So them four, they head out on the road again on that type of shit. But this trip is like, I think they said it's like 2-3 days or something fucking wild, so they gotta go by horse. And you know, like with something like that, like horses don't have the best gallons per mile or whatever you want to call it. Like it's an animal, dude. Like you got like these motherfuckers have to rest, and either way. So they're on their trip, and they get into it with these people. Like I said, I don't want to get super into the details, but basically these people end up killing their horses, and I think they stole some and they killed some or something wild. But at like, I think they're probably like halfway, so they have to like walk the rest of the way. So let's cut to where they actually get there, and this is like closer to the end of the movie. Like I said, I skipped a lot. The main bulk of the movie is them getting to where they need to go. They get to the place. They notice it's like a little pathway. It's like a little narrow pathway. So Jack from Lost, he's like, I'm gonna go first. If it's cool, I'm gonna throw a rock back. You guys come follow me. He goes through. It's cool. They follow him. Actually, I missed an important part. Mr. O'Dwyer, Insidious dude, he had to stay back because his leg was super fucked up. And they kind of give you like a feeling like I don't know if they cut his leg off or not. And they just left it like open, and then they take off. So they left him behind. They're like, here's some medicine, and we're out, and we're gonna save your wife, that kind of thing. So then, yeah, so it's just them three, old man, Kurt Russell, and Jack from Lost. They get to that point. They go through that little narrow area. Pretty much immediately, they start getting shot by arrows. Kurt Russell, I think he fucking like loses a finger or something. He gets No. He gets shot in the shoulder or something. And Jack from Lost, he fucking straight up loses his hand or something by an arrow. And it's like, fuck, dude, that's pretty gnarly. So they're like kind of hiding out. And then you see these creature fucking cannibal people. You see like one or two, but they run at them, and they look humongous, and they're like all gray and ashy and just vicious, dude. They just look fucking gnarly. They look scary. But they take like two of these things out. Like, okay, they're not superhuman. They fucking bullets take these guys out. They're donezo. So from there, Jack from Lost, he's sitting there and he's kind of like, not hyperventilating, but he's like, all right, I'm fucking hurt. You know what I mean? And then he's like, you guys keep going. Leave me that repeater, which is like a rifle or whatever. Says, leave me that repeater and head out. And they're like, are you sure? And he's like, I'm too vain to be left as a cripple. It's like, okay, like, I mean, all right, then so be it. Like, so they leave him there, and instantly, as soon as Kurt Russell and Old Man take off, you just see another one of those creatures come, and he throws a Bone Tomahawk. It's a fucking movie, which is just like a sharp ass axe, made of bone. It just looked fucking crazy looking. So he chucks it, and as he chucks it, you hear a gunshot. So he killed one of those things, but that thing fucking gave him an axe to the face. So that was done. He took out one. So I was, come on, you died like a bitch. Come on, dude, you could have did a little more. So Kurt Russell, Old Man are headed. They could see that there's a cave opening. It's like up a mountain, and there's a big ass hole in the mountain. They're kind of headed that way, but then instantly they get attacked too by like, I want to say like 3 more of those things, and they get fucking manhandled. Kurt Russell, they knock him down, and they're sticking a giant bone in his mouth, dude. I don't want to do the motion. I don't, with all due respect, but they're just sticking a giant bone in his mouth. And as they're doing that, he's like kind of trying to get out, and another one comes and hits him with a bone over the side of the head, knocks him out. So then it just shows them dragging them up a mountain. It's like here's another fucking scary thing about these cannibal people. They like did surgery on themselves. They put like some kind of bone whistle thing in their throat, and this is how they communicate. They don't have like a language. It's just they yell to each other, and it's just this weird, I don't know, I can't describe it. Like, it's just this weird scary sound, but it projects like some kind of horn type of thing, horn animal yell kind of. It's weird, but that's in their throat. So as soon as they caught them, those guys did that noise. The people that were up in the mountain, they threw some ropes down, and then they tied Kurt Russell and that old man up, and they were just dragging him up the mountain. Imagine just getting dragged up there all fucked up, like, god damn, whatever. So they have him in a cage, and it's these dudes made like this little, they have their own little prison system in there, and on the opposite side of them you could see Mrs. O'Dwyer, and then that other deputy, you could see them in there. So Kurt Russell's like, Mrs. O'Dwyer, are you okay? She's like, I'm fine, but you know, we're kind of fucked here. This is where it starts getting fucking pretty brutal. Like, we already seen a little violence at this point in the movie, but it starts getting fucking nasty. So, like I said, these dudes are cannibals. That's the only reason they have them caged up. That's the only reason they're just not killing them at that moment. You know, the fresh meat, they need that tenderness. So they take out that dude, Kurt Russell's deputy dude. It's like a younger guy. They take him out, and then they're right away fucking him up. And Kurt Russell's telling him, hey, the cavalry's coming. You know, you didn't die for nothing and all this shit. And it's like, that's not true. Nobody's going to save them. But he wanted to give him a death where it's like he felt like he fought as much as he could, and they're still gonna win. It's a pretty fucking fucked situation, but he tried to give him the best situation possible in that scenario. They start cutting his scalp, like right here, and they just pull it on some Inglourious Bastards type shit. Take his scalp, then they flip him over, and they start, so his legs are like this, and they start like hacking at his like butt cheek, and then just start going down, and you can see his like twig and berries just like bloody and dangling. It's gnarly, dude. And they're cutting him just down the middle, just cutting him, and you just see guts spilling out and shit like that. And then it kind of cuts to those cannibal people just walking around like eating his leg, like it's nothing. It's like, fuck, dude, that's way too brutal for me, man. So now they're coming up with plans. Like, okay, they're asking Mrs. O'Dwyer, how many of these things do you think there are? I think she says like 7, or I forget what she says. She was telling them how many there were, but it's like, all right, we already killed like 2 or 3 of them. They're like sitting there trying to do math, which is weird because I don't even think math was invented at this time, but I could be wrong. You might want to fact check that. I don't, Wikipedia that. I don't know when math started. So, okay, Kurt Russell has this idea. He had some of Mrs. O'Dwyer's medicine. What was it? That opium or whatever it was. And then he had his flask, his little grandpa's old cough medicine. He had that, you know what I mean? So what he ended up doing, he says, all right, let's put all that fucking medicine in here, trick these fucking creatures to steal it from us and drink it themselves. That's exactly what they do. They act like, Kurt Russell and the old man act like they're fighting over it, and then one of the fucking creatures is like, give me that shit. Takes a sip, passes it to his buddy. He takes a sip. His last buddy takes a sip, and then Mrs. O'Dwyer's like, yeah, the 2 of them are probably gonna die. The last one probably won't. Probably won't even be affected. Here's what happens after that. All right, these dudes figure out that Kurt Russell poisoned them. They bring that dude's corpse and just like shove it in his face, like, you killed this dude. They threw that flask in the fire pit. So they yank Kurt Russell out. Starts getting fucking brutal. They yank Kurt Russell out. They slice his gut, like, give him a decent fucking slice. Then they take out that fucking metal flask, and then they jam it in his gut. First of all, he has a gnarly cut. Then you got a fucking boiling ass fucking metal thing on your fucking insides and your innards. It's like, fuck, dude. So he's sitting there fucking just yelling, and then while this is happening, one of those big ass dudes just has his foot on his chest and just holding him down, like you're fucked, dude. Like, and then he's holding Kurt Russell's gun. The part I left out right there, Mr. O'Dwyer, he had woke up, and then he started following them. So they didn't cut his leg. He's headed over there. He finds evidence of foul play, so he's kind of ready, He ends up seeing some of those creatures coming at him, and he dumps on them. He has his little revolver. He fucks them up. Some gross shit. So how I told you that there was that little fucking horn thing in their throat. He slices one of their necks, takes that thing out, and then starts using it. Like, dude, first of all, this was in somebody's throat. That's bad enough. There's probably like gingivitis and shit on there. Second of all, these dudes are cannibals. You're eating like you're putting other people's blood in your mouth. If you're not a cannibal, that's not good for you. If you are, it's like you're kind of used to it, your immune system. But it's like that's new shit to you. So I'm sure that's gonna give you, at the very least, bad diarrhea. Anyways, he starts using that thing. So he like puts it in his mouth and starts like like doing a little fucking whistle thing, and then a few more of those creatures come out. I think he takes out one or two, whatever. But the thing is, he's in the clear, so he's already headed back up there. So I don't think they show him actually headed up there, which is kind of fucking stupid because, like I said, they had to drag them up earlier because it's such a fucking huge mountain. This dude had a broken ass leg. Like, I don't know how he managed that, but he did it. I guess that's the power of love. You know, like that song. That's probably what that song's about. So right there, Kurt Russell is laid out. They got that dude's foot on his chest, like we're gonna fuck you up, you're done, so don't even try to fucking leave. You start hearing gunshots in the back, and that's Mr. O'Dwyer coming in. So at that same time, that big ass dude is holding, I think Kurt Russell's fucking repeater, little rifle thing. He's holding it, and he's like, he can't figure out how to shoot, but he eventually figures out you gotta like crank it. I don't know the proper term, but he does that. He does that thing. When you hear the gunshots, Kurt Russell's like, "There's 3 of them in here," and when he does that, that fucking big ass creature shoots Kurt Russell. I forget where he shoots him, like somewhere in the chest, and it's like, oh fuck, that got him for sure. Like if that fucking boiling flask didn't get him, that gunshot's gonna get him for sure. Kurt Russell's kind of sitting there dying. That creature like lifts off of him for a second. And he kind of like he's scoping out the situation, looking back because he's like, Kurt Russell's not even a threat anymore. Kurt Russell looks to the right of him. There's one of those bone axes. And this dude, Kurt Russell, chops one of those fucking creatures' foot off. Like, this is his foot. He cuts, like, all that off. Bad. Like, it goes from that to that. Like, bad. It gnarly. Cuts the dude's toes off. So from there, you know, Mr. O'Dwyer comes in, saves the day. You know, like, frees his wife, frees the old man. You know, Kurt Russell's just sitting there dying. He's like, just leave my repeater. I'm going to try to take out the rest of them if they come in and all that. Which is like, all right, it's pretty brave of you. It's kind of what Jack did. And then he didn't do that much, but... You know, we'll give you that. Like, give you a sense of you did something before you died, which, you know. But here's the really cool part that I like. That old man, he mentions it throughout the movie a few times that he was like a widower or whatever you call it. His wife had passed away some time ago, and Kurt Russell still had his wife. So that old man tries to have a quick little moment with him, like, you know, you didn't die for nothing, sheriff, that kind of shit. Kurt Russell says another dope ass line. He's like, tell my wife I said goodbye, and I'll tell yours I said hello. It's a classy move right there. It's a classy move. You're dying. Say some cool shit. You know, that way kind of, you're dying, but it's like that dude really thinks like you're going to see his wife and say bye, and it's sweet. It's some sweet shit. So from there, you know, they're walking out, and you see 2 women, I guess they were cannibals, 2 women, cave women, you know, you know, they probably didn't call them cave women back then, but we're woke now, so it's like give them their proper title for sure. But here's the fucked up part. You see, they're both laid out, and they have no arms or legs, and then they have spikes in their eyeballs, and it's just like they've just been keeping them alive just to get them pregnant and shit. It's like fucking brutal, dude. That's fucking fuck, dude. Why? Fucking why? So from there, that's mainly it. It's just them walking away, like some nice sunset, like, you know, they're having their little moment, and they save the day. And so it's old man, Mr. O'Dwyer, Mrs. O'Dwyer, they got away. Everybody else is fucking dead. And, you know, David Arquette didn't make it. He got ate up, like, instantly. As soon as they caught him, I guess they ate him. They didn't show any of that. I wish there would have been some kind of footage of them eating him, because he was kind of a fuckhead. Like, he was straight just robbing and killing people. Like, and he started all this shit. Anyways, pretty fucking cool movie, man. I highly recommend it. You like, you know, here's the thing. A lot of people don't, you know, if you like westerns, you know, you really don't like horror movies. It's like you have to just like movies in general. But it's like why can't you? You know, if you like a horror movie, check out this western. There's other good westerns. You know what I mean? If you like westerns, check out this horror movie. There's good horror movies out there. You know, you guys need to mash up a lot more. You know, like, it's too much separation in this world. It's fucked up. Everybody needs to just chill out and get along more. I don't understand all this nonsense happening, but here's one way to start it. Check out Bone Tomahawk.
Bone Tomahawk, Bone Tomahawk, Bone Tomahawk, Bone Tomahawk, Bone Tomahawk.